Hi there, thank you so much for clicking the thumbnail and being interested in my work. In this video I share with you my techniques and tips on how I achieve this painting of a chimpanzee. So be sure to watch it right through to the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. This is where we left it in part 1, so now it's time to do the underdrawing. Now the colours we're using for the underdrawing are these, just the basic sort of primary colours, secondary colours, and obviously the black there just to help out. Unfortunately I lost the first 3/4 an hour footage, mainly because my card in my camera broke down. Luckily it wasn't the whole day's work, so just 3/4 an hour, so just have to sort of take it on the chin and carry on really. So the purpose of the underdrawing is actually just to re-sculpture the outline, just to make sure everything's in the correct place. So really I'm just lightly putting the white down, then using burnt sienna and lemon yellow and yellow ochre, and then a little bit of green as well, just to subtle it up, just to get that basic form in. I'm not spending too much time trying to get the details in at this point. It's just a matter of just getting a feel for where things are, because the next stage, when I start putting the richer colours in, that's when everything will start really coming together. We'll speed it up now a little bit, so it gives me more time later in this video to explain in detail how I put the details in and all those rich colours and how to achieve that. So I'm just going to rush through this underdrawing. Like I've said, it's just a basic way of feeling more relaxed. If you get all these shapes in before you start putting the details in, it makes you feel more relaxed, and you can sort of really connect to the actual portrait as well while you're doing these underdrawings, because it's quite fun. Just relax and enjoy it. Play about with the shapes, big shapes to start with, but really enjoy getting the movement and the feel. So it's not about detail, because sometimes when you start putting details in, it can tense you up. So doing this fun stage, it really loosens things up for when you actually do start to put details in, and you tend to sort of carry on with that fun feeling to it, and not get too wrapped up in and intense about trying to get everything correct. So basically how I'm doing it is actually using the Carbothello black, which is a great black to use, and also the white, Carbothello white, and just structuring that, and then just glazing over with like dark ultramarine and a purpley blue colour, and sometimes a bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna, just to get that feel of the colour. But I'm not too bothered at this stage about getting everything spot on. It's just a case of, like I said, just getting that feel and just enjoying playing about with the shapes. If you're getting value from this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Coming to the end of the underdrawing now. I'm not going to do the whole of the chimp with this video, I'm just going to do half of it. But what I do normally, before I start putting all the details and rich colours in, I get the background in first. So they're the colours I'm using for the background. And what I'm intending to do is just get a piece of scrap board and then try different pencils to see if you can get that feel and the colour you're looking for. It just helps a little bit when you start doing it, so you're not just randomly trying to work it out. Just have a little play first beforehand. For the dark areas I'm using these two dark greens from Caran d'Ache range, and then mixing in with that burnt umber, burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. To blend it I'm using my fingers, So I just use my fingers to blend, but also mixing in a little bit of grey as well, which really helps to give it that sort of distant feel to it. So I've found that using a grey of some sort, just mixed in with the colours, just recedes it more, so it's worth playing about with that. Now, to achieve the really rich, intense colours of the ears of the chimp, I'm using lemon yellow with warm red. Now, this will make it a zing, and to even increase that, if you use the Carandy Ash yellow, it really does intensify that zinginess and that brightness, intensity. So sometimes you try and do it with the Carbonfellows. If it don't work and it's not intensified enough, then use the Carandy Ash ones. Here's the selection of pencils I've used in for the sort of flesh colour and the ears. To create the shadow, I'm using dark green and red mix. If that doesn't work, I use a bit of brown and purple in there. Now I'm using the Carandy Ash black because it's more dense, and mixing blue with that to get that really deep shadow, but using white as well to draw the areas, map all these hairs out, and then sort of sculpturing it with the black. The little wisps of hair, the throwaway hair if you like, just using the Carbonfellow white very lightly, trying to find where they are, and then I'll go over that then with the Carandy Ash white, just for little bits of highlights here and there. It's a case of just going through with that white, sculpturing it with the black, and then glazing over, then just keep repeating the process. So you're using white glaze, just so you get that subtlety of colour. Now these are colours I've chosen for the face tone. So I'm trying the burnt sienna and olive green mix with lemon yellow to see if that works, because it's more of a golden looking skin, and burnt sienna and lemon yellow really makes a nice gold. So I thought I'd try using that to start with. Now I've had to use black within the shadows within this. I know normally I don't use black, but because there's so much black in the black fur, I needed to sort of get that depth, so mixing a little bit of black, but always add purple or brown with the black to help it become more richer. So it's worth just trying a bit of blue or brown with the black just to change it up a little bit. For the highlights, I'm using the pencils, which are yellow ochre mix ones and yellow ochre from the Carandy Ash range. That really helps with the vibrancy. Then mixing a little bit of white with it as well to give it the highlight. And it's a case of just playing about with it, moving things about, relaxing, just enjoy it and just see it as fun again. Don't get too wrapped up into it. Eventually I will be putting this onto my Patreon page, where it'll be a 4-hour long video from the start, from the outline right through to the finished portrait. So it'll be more of an in-depth look at it, about 4 hours long, so you could see every pencil I use, and then I'll do narration just explaining here and there, giving you pointers. If you want to check out my Patreon page, the link is in the description below. For the whiskers, I've used the yellow ochre mix from Carandy Ash. It's like a bit of red with the yellow ochre mixed in with it, and it's really handy to use just for this instant, because it's quite a They're quite glowing, these whiskers are, so it's nice and rich, that pencil is. And then just for little bits of highlights there, I've just gone over with a lighter yellow ochre mix pencil. So it's a case of playing about with it, seeing what works. For the lips I used a warm red and lemon yellow to get that vibrant feel to it. The shadow under the lip I used brown and purple, maybe a little bit of black here and there as well. Regarding the details, what I'm doing is restructuring everything with the white, just making sure I'm happy where everything is, so mapping out the area again. Then once I'm happy, I just glaze over what colours needed. With the frown area here, I used burnt umber and alizarin crimson type pencil, which is a purpley red colour, and then just keep glazing using the white, sculpturing the area, glazing again. On the top there is just pelouse, you know, like ultramarine blue, purpley blue. The ear, I'm just repeating what I did on the other ear, where I'm using the rich red and lemon yellow. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean so much to me, as this will help the channel to grow. Now here's a close-up view of how I put the details in the black fur. Using the Carbothello white, I'm just mapping out where the hair goes, and then just being random with it and relax and just flow with it. Just open the heart, let go of the mind. The mind will create tension. The mind will want to put every little detail in. So if you let go of the mind and just focus on the heart, just open up and just let it flow. Just connect to the animal spirit, the energy melt into the animal, just be one with it, and just feel the movements just flow from you. It's a weird sensation, but once it happens to you, you'll know what I mean. For longer, slower and more in-depth video, please join me on Patreon. Link is in the description below. In this area I've used a different blue, more of a warm blue, which is got a little bit of yellow in it. It's like a turquoisey blue, so that really makes a difference. Keep changing up the different blues. You've got to experiment really to see what works. Now I'm using a mixture of warm red and burnt sienna and lemon yellow to create the fingers, or the toes in this instance. Using brown and purple and green for the shadows. You have to experiment, see what works. If the green doesn't work, use a blue or use a brown to see if you can create that shadow. It's just a case of just having a go and see what works. Just give you a tip on how to keep relaxed while you're doing this sort of thing, because it can be a bit daunting, all this hair and that. But just don't see it as hair, don't give it a name. It's the mind that wants to give it a name. Just see it as light and shade and movement and feeling, because within that hair there's actually the aura of that chimp. So you're sensing the feeling coming from that area and draw that, and it becomes so much more fun than trying to put every little hair in. create the dark shadow of the fingers, I'm using Elysium Crimson, dark green, burnt umber, burnt sienna, a little bit of lemon yellow here and there. I will be adding a lot more detail to the fingers and toes after I've put the branch in, so it's just a case of getting it roughly the right colour and shade at this point, but when you start putting the other elements in, things could change, so I tend to sort of hold back a little bit, but all them fine details will be put in the next video. There's the portrait at the correct angle rather than being in perspective on the easel. Thank you for watching the video right through to the end. If you found value in it and you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Appreciate it, would help the channel. Leave a comment and a message in the comments below. Let me know what sort of videos you want me to produce. I've actually left a couple of links here for you to click on, and to subscribe, click on the circle here. It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much, take care and be well.